Hi there everybody and welcome back to another video on the Toon Review YouTube channel. Today of course is Eddie Howe's press conference. He has just spoken to the media ahead of the game tomorrow against Bournemouth at St James's Park with a 3 o'clock kickoff. Just before we get into the press conference, just a quick reminder guys, if you do enjoy the video, to hit that like button, and also if you're new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. It is free to do so. Join the Toon Review family, and of course hit that notification bell which will let you know when we upload or we go live. Now into the press conference, and he started off basically talking about the events of the last week, and he said the beauty of football is that we do get to come together as a nation and pay tribute to the fantastic life the Queen had and what she did for our country. That's what football does best. Now of course, we've seen various things happen during the week with regards to Celtic and Liverpool fans being quite disrespectful, in my opinion. Some disgusting signs by the Celtic fans. But then we've seen on the flip side of that some wonderful events. You know, the West Ham game at the London Stadium last week was brilliant. And of course, Rangers this week. Hats off to the Rangers fans. Absolutely superb. You know, the Union Jack flag with the Queen in the middle, and the national anthem, absolutely fantastic. So a huge well done to the Rangers fans and the Rangers Football Club in general for putting that together. It was absolutely superb, and hopefully Newcastle United fans can just show their gratitude to the Queen as well. And if you didn't like what you know, you're not a royalist or whatever, it doesn't matter. Just pay your respects to a woman that did so well for all her life, really, and you know, just giving our regards and a good send-off, which I'm sure the Newcastle United fans will do because, you know, we're renowned for that kind of thing. Now, he went on to say about Bruno, Maxi and Callum Wilson. And again, as we expected from Eddie Howe, not giving anything away. He says, everyone has improved, but I'll leave my team news until the time we get it. It's been a slightly difficult period for us, but hopefully we're coming out of that. They're big players for us and we need them back quickly. I get the feeling that Bruno will play tomorrow. He's been in training. As for Maxi, it's up and down with him, isn't it? We don't know for certain. Callum Wilson, again, you know, we've got to be careful with him not to rush him back too quickly, but obviously that's why we have Isak now. But we're starting to get numbers back, which is a very, very good sign. And Bruno coming back will give us that extra dimension. It really will. And somebody that Isak can work well with. Joe Linton certainly works well with. And Maxi coming back would be brilliant as well. But if he doesn't play, I'd love to see Elliot Anderson given a shot, to be honest, because I think he is a better player than Ryan Fraser. I know Ryan Fraser's against his old club. There's not a lot of love lost between the fans and Ryan Fraser. That's a certainty from Bournemouth side of things. But we'll just have to wait and see what happens. But for me, I think out of the three, if anyone's sort of 90% going to play, I think it's Bruno, to be honest. But again, Eddie Howe will not give anything away, absolutely nothing to the opposition. And the opposition will basically find out who's playing at the same time that the fans do, which is an hour before the game. So I think Bruno will play, personally. Now, he went on to talk about Loris Karius, who, of course, signed for Newcastle United last weekend. Newcastle didn't make a big song and dance about it because of, obviously, the Queen's passing. But he did eventually sign and do an interview this week. But he had this to say. He says, the injury to Darlow, he was just in training doing normal shot action, but he twisted his ankle. With that, we decided it was wise to move for someone with experience who would complement the goalkeepers we have. He's come in and trained very well. Now, interesting comments there from Eddie Howe, because if you look at that twisted ankle, that's certainly not as serious as what the media were making out, that it was ACL, etc. You know, if it's just a twisted ankle, then he's not expected to be out that long. So the signing of Karius is clearly just to give us that extra depth in the goalkeeping position. He'll be on the bench tomorrow. There's no doubt about that, because Carl Darlow is missing, and of course Gillespie hasn't been included in the 25-man squad. So that's interesting for me. And if Karius ever does play for us, then we wish him the very best of luck. And hopefully, you know, he's just got that bad rep because of the Champions League final. But let's not forget, he's had a good career and he's played very well at the clubs he's been at. So I'm not too worried about if Karius has to come in. But Nick Pope, of course, is number one. Just recently named in the England squad as well. So we are backed up well by goalkeepers. There is no doubt about that. Now, on the last week of training, Eddie said it hasn't looked dissimilar. We took the game out, but we trained well before, gave them a couple of days off and trained really well after. There was no major relaxation. We continued our work, team ethics, understanding and performance. So again, there you go. Eddie's not laying off. We know previous regimes would have given them a long time off over the Queen's passing and things like that. But Eddie Howe, give them a few days off, get them back on the training pitch and train well again. Ethics, understanding and performance. Big words from the manager, but big words that we've heard from the manager on numerous occasions. And again, he just speaks so well in his press conference. He gives the fans, real hope that he's working hard behind the scenes, which is what Eddie Howe's all about, is complete hard work and getting these players right for each individual game. It's not like he doesn't prepare for that particular team that they're playing, because he does all the time. He whether it be Bournemouth or Brentford or Man City, he will train and work on things to play that particular team. He's meticulous with doing that, and obviously watching the opposition, watching how they play, watching their tactics, how they're set up, and he's fully switched on to getting our team well and truly prepared for that, which I think we'll be bang on it tomorrow. I really do. We've had a bit of time off, obviously, 2 weeks since the last game, and I think we'll be on it from the word go tomorrow, and hopefully getting a few goals as well. Now on Bournemouth, who we know that Eddie's got a very big connection with, obviously. He says, I personally feel a huge sense of gratitude to the club and everyone connected with it. I wouldn't be sat here now if it wasn't for AFC Bournemouth. We'll be competing to win the game and are desperate to do so, but it will be a special game for us. And, of course, he's talking about Tyndall and, of course, his backroom staff as well. Now, we had Matt, the Bournemouth fan, on the show last night, remember, and he spoke very, very highly of Eddie Howe. He is seen as a god down there and still very, very highly thought of, which is really nice, and it just proves the kind of job that Eddie Howe did for Bournemouth and what Bournemouth's done for Eddie. Let's not forget that as well. He was given an opportunity, and he took them really from depths of despair to Premier League football. And when you do that as a manager with a smallish club like Bournemouth, it's going to be fantastic. You are going to be seen as a legend there, and hopefully that is what Eddie Howe's going to be seen at Newcastle United, a legend. Kevin Keegan stature, Bobby Robson stature. That's what we want to know Eddie Howe as. And obviously the Bournemouth fans are convinced that he'll do a fantastic job, given the right resources at Newcastle, which he, of course, will be. But he's always going to have that special connection to Bournemouth. And every time Newcastle take on Bournemouth now, it's going to be known as the Eddie Howe derby, isn't it? So very, very kind words said. But again, the last bit of his statement there, we'll be competing to win the game. So, of course, when that 90 minutes kicks off, it's all forgotten about. It's about Newcastle United getting 3 points and putting on a good performance and winning the game, which, again, he speaks very well. Now, on the England call-ups for Nick Pope and Kieran Trippier, he says it's great to see players excel at a club level and then take that form onto the international stage. They're passionate about playing for their country and they want to go to the World Cup. They know performance here will dictate that. So again, he's banging into the players. Your performances at this club will dictate whether you go to the World Cup or not. And, we talked about the World Cup squad, the England squad on the show last night. Listen, the manager's got his favourites. That is no doubt about it. And when you've got managers like Eddie Howe telling these players that, the performances for your club will dictate getting into the England squad, it doesn't work like that particularly well. We've seen that because Harry Maguire, Luke Shaw, etc., players that aren't playing are getting in the England squad, which is, for me, a bit ridiculous. But that's just the way it is. But with Nick Pope and Kieran Trippier, they're already established in the squad. So good performances for Newcastle United will, of course, dictate where they're going to be in that World Cup squad. We think, as Newcastle fans, that Nick Pope should obviously be the number one England goalkeeper. Everton fans will think different and think, obviously, Jordan Pickford. But it's going to be interesting, isn't it? Because Pickford he played very well, it has to be said, against Liverpool before he got injured. Nick Pope's been brilliant all season for us. So it's a real competition. And of course, you've got Ramsdale at Arsenal, who is highly thought of. Whether we do or not is a different question. But for me, Nick Pope deserves an opportunity, especially in these Nation League games, to see how he holds the number one position. Now, finally, on Eddie Howe, on Jonjo Shelvey, he says, Jonjo is making good progress. He's out on the grass running, and he's looking good. He's in really good physical condition, and he's looking after himself, so hopefully it won't be too long. There's a picture of him actually here in training, and he is looking so slimmed down, it is unbelievable. I have to say, the photo of Shelvey is quite remarkable. He looks very, very toned up, slimmer and toned up, and looks in really good condition. So let's just hope that goes into the games, because for one, I think we miss Shelvey. You know, we miss that kind of quarterback position, which means Bruno can then push forward a little bit more and give us more attacking wise. Shelvey can sit back in that position. And listen, the likes of Isak, Wilson, etc. will love these passes that Jonjo can play. You know, the through balls, the over-the-top balls, down the channels, everywhere like that is somewhere that Jonjo thrives on. So to get him back in the team for me is a must. I think Joe Willock would be probably the one to miss out on, when Jonjo comes back, to be honest, because we need his range of passing. We need that kind of stability there to be able to push Bruno and Joe Linton further forward. But, Jonjo Shelvey, some fans like him, some fans don't. It's just the way it is. But I particularly think we've missed him, and it's been proven that we've missed him over the course of the start of the season, that we haven't had him there. But there you go, guys. That is Eddie Howe's press conference. Some very interesting thoughts. Again, not giving anything away with regards to the match tomorrow, team-wise and anything like that. So we know that from Eddie. We know what he's like with that. He doesn't give anything away. He never will. So come 2 o'clock tomorrow is when we'll find out who's fit and who isn't, to be honest. But let me know in the comments what you thought about Eddie's press conference. Is it how you expected? Are you just loving the way this man talks about Newcastle United? Even his former team, Bournemouth, he said some very kind things, but he didn't big them up too much. He's more concentrating on Newcastle United and getting 3 points tomorrow. So let me know down below what you think. And as if you have enjoyed the video, guys, as I said at the start, please do hit that like button. It does move us up the search results on YouTube. And of course, become part of the family and subscribe to the channel. Just hit the subscribe button, completely free to do so. And also the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload or we go live. And tonight, of course, we've got TTR Friday, which is basically a little magazine show that we do, which gives you a good laugh and gets you ready for the weekend ahead. So join us for that at 8 p.m. But in the meantime, guys, have a wonderful Friday. Take care.